Hi everybody, welcome to Lou's Colourful Crafts. I'm Louise Daniels. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'm going to show you one of our fantastic products from our latest celebration, which is free if you place an order of £90 or more. I'm going to use the stamp set called Delicate Dahlias. I think it's really pretty. It's a two-step stamp and it's also a distinctive one, in as much as you'll see as I stamp away in a moment, the stamp here creates almost a 3D image. Now we have an outline, we have a 3D image, two small ones, and the leaves. The sentiments say thank you kindly, oh so happy for you, sending heartfelt sympathy, and you inspire me. And I just thought at this time of year it's a fantastic stamp to be using, and I'm going to case a project that I saw one of my very good friends Esther doing, where I'm actually going to stamp lots and lots of the images all over a piece of A4 and then show you how to cut that up to create your own cards. So here we go. Firstly, I had to select some inks, so I've gone for quite a range of pinks and yellows. I've got Polished Pink, Mango Medley, Magenta Madness, Daffodil Delight, Crushed Curry, Poppy Parade, a bit of orange in the terracotta, and a bit more flamingo. So let's go for it. I love playing with all these wonderful colours. I'm going to start with one of our new ones, which is the Polished Pink, and I literally have just got a piece of plain white A4 cardstock, just the basic, and I'm going to use the one that I called the Distinctive. It looks very flat, but hopefully if I can get it to ink. Now this time I am putting the ink onto the flower because it's quite big, and I'm just going to go for it. Quite a firm pressure down there, and off we go. And you can see my ink is playing silly devils at the moment. I'm not sure why, but we'll go for it. We'll try another one. There we go, and you can see the images are beginning to form. I'm going to go for the next pink one, which is the Magenta Madness, one of last year's in colours. Another lovely pink, and I'm going to go just on the top there, and you can see round we go. Twist it a little bit so you get a bit of a different orientation for your flower, and I'm just going to start building. You can see that one. I'm going to start building flowers across the page, and then I'm going to use one of the Stampin' Up! Chamois, which has just got clean water on it, because don't forget our stamps are all, inks rather, are all water based, so it's ever so easy to clean it off. And I'm literally going to close that pink one up out of the way, and I'm going to go for some terracotta tile. I think you can see how stunning these flowers actually are. Not tried this one, it might be a little bit brown, so we'll do it down the bottom here. It's quite dark, so what I might do is just see what happens if I don't re-ink it and do what we call stamp it off. I've stamped it and I'm going to stamp it again. There we go. I'm not fond of that colour. Well, this is the beauty of all these inks. You can just keep playing. There's no right or wrong. I'm going to go for the Crushed Curry, which is a dark yellow. Just going to make sure there's no ink left on my stamp and go for it. And I haven't used this ink in quite a while, so I'll just turn it over and make sure we get plenty of ink on my stamp. And I'm going to just do it down the edge just to make sure, as I thought, I need a bit more ink on this one. There we go, that's getting it going. Do find with these distinctive inks, stamps, you do have to put a bit more pressure on them to get them going. There we go. Oh, that's a pretty colour. Going to do the same with a Daffodil Delight. And this time, as I'm doing it, I'm going to start placing them over each other, because obviously if they were growing in a big bunch in the garden, they would be on top of one another. I'm not sure about this end, but you'll see in a moment it doesn't actually matter. See if we can get a nice one up here. Oh, that one hasn't stamped up at all. This is why it won't matter. You do need to make sure that your ink pad, and you give it a really good press. Don't know why it started doing that. There we go, there's a perfect one. Beautiful colour. I'm going to do another yellow one. Nice firm pressure. There we go. Might put a yellow one over the top and see what happens. Come down here, start to fill out the colours, and I'm going to take this one away, and I'm going to go for Flirty Flamingo, which is a sort of peachy orange. Pop it straight onto the ink, and going up over here. It's quite difficult when you're doing a random abstract, that's a pretty one, abstract pattern, to keep yourself, you naturally start to do patterns. So I'm just going to start adding a few in the middle, like so, and you can see I'm beginning to fill in the spaces as we go. I'm loving all these bright colours at the moment. So if you remember, so far I've used Magenta Madness, Polished Pink, this is Flirty Flamingo. It's definitely working better by adding my ink to my stamp rather than stamp to the ink. This is Flirty Flamingo, as I say. I'm going to go close that one up, that's a beautiful one. And I'm going to add some Poppy Parade here. Straight on, ink onto the stamp. And I'm going to go over this edge over here. You can see, not quite sure why my stamp is doing this. I don't get too bothered, because you can always, when you come to, there you go, that's a perfect one. When you come to cut it up, you'll see you can always add your sentiment or a piece of ribbon or an embellishment over an area that hasn't stamped 100%. It's not worth getting too uptight about it. There we go. I love this red. I'm going to pop one down the bottom here. Just make sure, as I say, keep reminding myself to put the ink to the stamp. I'm going to go over the top here where this one didn't work, and you actually can see which way the stamp falls, and match it back up again, she says. There we go. I'm just going to pop it over the top right there, and hopefully that'll be better effect. Oh yes, that's better. I want to go for a nice bright pink one up here. Bright pink, this is Poppy Parade, Louise, nice red one. Where should we go? We should go down here. And I'm just going to put one up here actually, I think. And then I'm going to make sure I've cleaned it off, because obviously the red is darker than the yellow. You've seen I'll probably swap between ink pads. As long as you make sure by stamping off that you haven't got any more ink left on it, you can switch colours quite easily. I just like to use this chamois just to make sure. Push it out the way, double check, a couple of stamps, and then I'm going to go for some Mango Melody even over the top there. And I'm going to go and fill this corner up here. Hopefully we get a nice image there. And I'm going to, oh, I nearly dropped my ink right in the middle of it. That would have been quite spectacular. Going to go for one right over the top here. And just move this ink out of the way for another yellow one up here. I'm just going to come down here with a different shade of yellow. Lots of dahlias are yellow orangey colours. There we go. I think I'm going to add a little bit more pink on this far end. I don't know, we'll try what I'm going to do before I put any more flowers on, because within the set as well you also have the dahlia leaves. So I've got the two types of stamp, so one will just give you an outline and one will give you the leaf. I'm going to go use Garden Green, and I'm going to just literally add a few leaves in and amongst the flowers. A little bit random, but I think it's quite effective. Might do it slightly paler too by just not stamping it quite so much ink. Green one up here, and I'm going to stamp one down there, because of course all flowers have leaves with them. And you can see you start to build up quite an interesting pattern. I'm quite liking this. effective. And then finally I'm going to use the other stamp, which is the outline of a leaf, and just add one or two more. Different style of stamp. And the other stamp that comes in this set that I love, little pale one up there, is the very tiny flower. And what I do with this one is that I'm going to go back to one of the pinks, and we'll go with the polished pink, which is the very bright one, and I'm just going to add just a few very small flowers, just a line, image. And the beauty is, I think, of doing this type of stamping is you can't go wrong, and you haven't really lost an awful lot if you really don't like it, because it's a piece of white card. I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm just going to clean this one off, and I'm just going to add a couple more of the little flowers in the Flirty Flamingo, and hopefully you can see that we've actually got almost a piece of art appearing just by using a few of these Stampin' Up! Inks and some of their wonderful stamps. Now the next process in this, and I was going to do one that I showed you earlier, but I thought actually no, people need to see how the cards are created. I like the fact that somebody said to me the other day they're almost little works of art, and to be honest they really are. Now this piece of paper is A4. I tend to cut my card fronts, if I'm just doing a basic card front, to 10 by just shy of 15. So I'm going to show you, and don't worry about where you cut it. Bring your trimmer in. This is the Stampin' Up! Trimmer. I'm going to make it 10 centimetres in that direction. And let me just double check whether I'm better doing it this way. I might do it this way. I'm going to do it the long ways at just below 14.5, and I'm going to turn it round, and I'm going to do it at 10, like so, straight down the middle. Don't worry about where you're cutting it. And another one, and you can see straight away I'm creating some cards. So always keep these little strips. I'll do this one, so it's just shy, it's 14.4, putting it down there like so, and turning it round to 10 centimetres, and you'll see I've created, I'm going to double, no, I'm going to keep going in the same direction, and I've got 4 card fronts. Now I'm just going to reach a long arm and grab a piece of basic white cardstock. Now I'm going to do my cards this direction, which means I need to score it at 14.9. This is the light blade on our trimmer. Make sure it's clicked down. Score it, which will enable you to fold your card, and then cut at 10.5 top to bottom. And this will give me 2 pieces of white cardstock, which I can very quickly fold, and bring in one of these. I'm going to choose, quite like this one, I'm going to choose this one. You can see that I've just outlined it. I'm going to grab a little bit of the Tombow, and not too much, not too little. And the beauty of the wet glue, the Tombow, which is available from Stampin' Up!, you do have a little bit of wiggle room. Use your grid to line up your square, and there we go. Now I do have a pre-cut label die. This is the Everyday label, and I'm going to take one of the sentiments from the set that says, "Oh, so happy for you." Just bob him on a little stamp block, looking at all the colours on there, I'm going to go with the Magenta Madness pink, the strong pink. I'm just going to bring that out of the way and to pop it on there, literally in the middle. Let's get it the right way round. Again, use the grids to line up your stamps. There we go. And then I'm going to bring the tiny little stamp back in. I'm just going to clean it off. Remember, we're using the chamois, which is beginning to look decidedly pink. But these, as I say, the beauty of these is they wash out under tap water. There we go. So you can see my ink is now, my stamp is now clean. And I'm going to just bring in the little flower, same colour ink, and just stamp on the edge of my label, just to give it a little bit of pretty. And I'm going to do that corner there and that corner there. And final little thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to work out where I want to place it on here. You could pop it in the middle. I quite like to offset them. Or I could be very clever and make it sit on there, look. Well, I don't think I like that, so maybe we'll... not sure. I'm going to actually hide that one. I'm going to pop it... No, I'm going to put it right down there. Go back to what I was talking about. I'm going to pop it on there. Down the bottom. I am going to use the glue just to keep it nice and flat, but I'm just looking for a little bit of pink ribbon, which is here. This is the polished pink, so there's lots of pinks going on here. And very simply, just take the ribbon, beautiful ribbons these, and just tuck it over like so. And I will just trim the ends so that they're a little bit neater. There we go. And I'm just going to put some glue on the back of this sentiment, little topper. Make a little loop, like a little bit like a rosette, lie it across there, so that when I come to pop my sentiment on, well, let's do another one, it's going to hold down my ribbon, she says, while we let it dry. Just keep it nice and tight. Just added a little bit of ribbon to it, and we'll just then bring in, because you've got to have a little bit of sparkle on a pretty card, a little gem just there. And I hope you can see that that's made a really, really simple but effective card. And I'll just place that one out of the way, and I'll just bring another piece of basic white cardstock in, choose one of the other fronts. Oh, I don't know, I'm going to go for this one here. Again, just literally gluing the piece of card onto the front, holding it there, and this time I'm going to use a circle, and I'm going to use a sentiment that says I've lost it. Says thank you kindly. Same idea, grab the little block, says thank you kindly. There's a lot of the greens on this one, so I'm going to take the garden green ink and straight into the middle. I'm going to do it towards the top of this one. One of the things, tips, if you look through your polymer stamps, you can see whether or not there's plenty of ink before you stamp. Pop him on there, thank you kindly, and I'm going to bring the little stamp, the little flower back in, using the paper and my chamois to make sure she's clean. And I'm going to pick up some of the yellow, because I love this Mango Melody, really bright, lovely yellow. And I'm just going to go, just like we did on the other topper, around the bottom. Hope you can see what I'm doing. Just around the edges, just to add, might do a little bit more all the way around actually, it's quite pretty. Just to add a little bit of detail to it. And then pop that one out of the way, put these stamps out of my way. I'm going to just pop that in the middle of the card, and there we go. So using just a single stamp set, a selection of inks, and it would work just as well with less ink, you can make some really very pretty cards. I've still got 2 pieces to go, so look out for a few more posts where I decide what to do with these ones. But hopefully that's inspired you to have a go creating your own DSP and thoroughly enjoying playing with ink and stamp. And just to remind you, the set I've used is the Delicate Dahlias, and that's only available to stampers until the end of September the 30th, 2021. If you place an order with me at louisedaniels.stampinup.net of £90 or more, that can be chosen as your free gift, and I think it's a stamp that will last you for years to come. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do get in touch if you want some more advice, and keep watching to find out what I'm going to do next. Take care. Bye.